Hi guys, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist and continuing with our series of videos related to survival kits. These are in their own way small survival kits of their own. This would be a very compact elemental survival kit, if we're going to be calling it in some way. It's the Leatherman Charge tool, right? The Charge TTI and the sheath it comes with. It's made of leather and it's maybe not the best, greatest, most tactical material in the planet, but leather still works. It's not, like Cordura, and it's not going to be the latest Black Ops tactical force, whatever material being implemented and such. But I still think it's serviceable as well, and it looks good. It works, which is the important part. Does it work? Yeah, it does. It's sturdy enough, it's protecting your tool, which is its intended purpose. So why not? I mean, it comes along with your tool as well. The tool itself is fantastic in means of the blade. It has a very nice blade that it can be sharpened, locks nicely with this liner lock over here. All tools lock in this multi-tool. We have the saw. The saw is great. If you have to cut small branches and such, it makes notches or so. In an emergency situation, it's maybe not it's not as good as an axe or a big saw, but in an emergency situation, you do have some time. So if you have a bit of patience, you can achieve lots of stuff with a saw such as this one. You have an extra blade as well, so you have two blades in your tool. Both blades are excellent. The file, it would be great if you could somehow remove this file at some point and use it to sharpen your other tools as well. That would have been pretty neat. Of course, the pliers, which come in handy lots of times, and in this sheet you do have some other bits, right? You do have a few different bits in here which go over here with this adapter, right? The problem I see with this tool, in particular with this adapter, is that it's very short, right? So you do have several different bits, and it's nice to have them and all, but the problem is that they're too short. And even comparing it for something like, for example, what I would have in my keychain of my vehicle, look the kind of reach it has. Okay, my Minichamp, which is in my keychain, the Minichamp has a Phillips driver that is this long, and it's exactly the right length so as to fit in most gadgets I've tried to open with. This one I found to be often very short and not as useful as you would have thought. Maybe it would have been better to have a couple of, or maybe three, fit one of the flat versions of the screwdrivers, such as this one. Running out of time pretty fast. I want to do this fast. The flat version of a Phillips screwdriver, such as this one, fitting one of those here, and maybe a couple flat regular screwdrivers as well. Having two regular screwdrivers with greater length and a Phillips one, like this one over here. That would have been better, in my opinion, in terms of having all in one tool. I mean, you do have the different bits, but the short length makes it much harder to use. There is an extension piece which I have, but I mean, it's not nearly as practical as you would have thought it is. All in all, it's still an outstanding tool, and this is what I carry with me at all times. And it's in my pockets at all times, with the use of the clip. I carry this daily, so I do love it, but that's a small criticism. Well, going back to what would be an elemental kit of some sort, having the tool, which is great on its own, having means of light, of seeing in the dark. This is a small LED light that I think it's supposedly 70 or 80 lumens at its maximum output. It's a Q4 LED. No, here it is, Q5 LED. It's okay. Its minimum output, it would last a good amount of hours. So you do have a nice flashlight in this small kit, and it is a good one. It's not one of the button LEDs, the small button LEDs that we've seen in some of the other previous kits. So it is a good flashlight. So we have a good tool, a good flashlight as well, and a small piece of fire steel. I also have a needle in there. I don't know if you get to see it. Small one, yeah, here it is. Small needle in case you just need something for, needles do come handy every once in a while, so that's why I have it in there. Usually you use the side of the tool for, striking in that motion. I'm gonna be making a video showing how you actually use this without any sort of cotton or any sort of special tinder of any kind, just what you would be finding in nature, so as you guys can see what I mean by it. So hurrying up a bit because we're already 6 minutes and I still have lots of things to show. This would be another kit right here on its own. This is Spec Ops, or yeah, I think it's Special Ops sheath with my Boosie knife. It's a Boss Jack knife by Boosie. Outstanding knife. This would be the smallest knife I would go for a survival situation. Some of the smaller bushcraft knives that are like the tiniest they get, the more they like it. I don't know. I really don't understand that. This would be the minimum length of what I would consider a possible survival knife. Any smaller than this and you're really losing capabilities in your blade. Still, it's a Boosie and it's outstanding, and it could take lots of punishment, this blade, very easily. It could be used as a pry bar. It's not going to be breaking on you anytime soon. It's incredibly sturdy, well made. I like the balance. I reviewed this blade before, so I'm not going to be going into much more of it. Just check the previous videos and you'll see the review of this one. The thing is that it comes with a sheath that has this pocket over here, which is intended for a pistol magazine, right? It's a Glock 40 pistol magazine with 357 SIG ammunition, right? So you have a pistol magazine, which isn't as practical as you would have thought, but you could include a small survival kit in here as well. Now you're probably thinking, okay, Fernando, you're talking about a small survival kit that's magazine shaped. Well, voila, here we have one. A small stainless steel kit that fits right into this pistol magazine pouch. Okay, it's not a perfect fit, but it does fit, and it fits with the blade as well, so it's all good. The knife, right? A small kit right here in your knife. Instead of having it in your survival knife in the pommel, you have a separate kit which is much bigger and gives you greater capabilities. Where did I get this? You may be asking. This is I got in one of these pawn shops. I bought it for like $2 or something like that. I think it's used for dentist tools. So you may want to check something like that, dentist or surgery tools. A small container such as this one, it's outstanding for a small kit like that one, and it happens to be shaped in such a way that it fits perfectly in the knife sheath. So keep your eyes open in case you come across this type of stuff. What I do is keep that in mind, and whenever I see a container that could possibly work as a kit as well, I just buy it if the price is right. So hurrying up a bit, what we have in here is some of the typical stuff we've seen on the other videos. We have some matches and a striker in there, seal so as to keep it waterproof. We have our potassium permanganate, which is used for purifying waters with these black crystals. Outstanding material to have in your kit. Purifying water, cleaning wounds as well, making signals. That is something I forgot mentioning before in the previous videos. If you use this with a bit of water, and if you're caught in snow, for example, you put some of this in water and it makes a very red tint. You can throw it in the snow and it makes a huge red mark. So it's good for signaling as well. Outstanding piece of kit to have with you. Lighter, which should be tested every once in a while. Kevlar cord which is much better than the usual stuff you will be finding in most kits. Kevlar cord will withstand lots of tension, so you know, for how thin it is incredibly capable. Remember what I talked about, keeping updated with what's out there offered by a market, what's good for you, what works in your different kits. This is again an example. Small LED lights. This one is brighter than the previous ones. Wire saw that is also pretty good, well made. It does work nicely, and in conjunction with your knife, you could be using both for cutting wood. You know, you have much more. You have more options. At least you have more options with these two tools. I mean, using your bigger Boosie knife. I mean, with this knife, it's not gonna be that hard to process wood for shelter building and such, fire building and such. It's not gonna be a problem, but you still have more capabilities if you have the saw with you. A couple of coins in case you come across a phone that is using these and you have no other means of communication. Just a couple of small coins for making an emergency phone call. Some paper over here. Missing here would be a small writing implement. I have one that would fit the build right pretty well. And we have some aluminum foil here, the thick one by the brand that has the thickest, the greatest amount of microns, the thickest one you find in the market. That's the one that is less likely to break and will be more useful. What you use this for is the tin foil. It's aluminum foil actually. What you use it for is for making a container so as to cook your food, right? So having a bit of this tin foil, it's going to be making, you know, you can come up with a pot of some sort, and at least you have, it's not a great container, but at least you have one for processing food and such. So this is a small kit that fits right in the magazine pouch of this knife, right? So yet another possible alternative, some more ideas for you guys to consider and keep in mind for your own kits. I hope you enjoyed this series of videos and gain some knowledge along the way. It's good to have you following the YouTube channel. I really appreciate the comments. Remember the subscription as well, so as to keep updated. Checking as well the blog over at www.theModernSurvivalist.com for more of this stuff, previous articles as well, and keep in touch. So I'll be seeing you on our next video. Take care.